Hi. Thanks for coming back to the Simple Shrink. I am so glad that you did. I'm starting my unit on how do I pick a practitioner, therapist, shrink, whatever you want to call them. Probably wouldn't call them head shrinkers to their face, so I don't mind, but I mean, there's so many questions. And nobody tells you this. I'm just going to start with this. What do these mean? However, one thing you might do first is to call your insurance, if you have any. Everyone's losing their jobs and their insurance. If you have insurance at the current time, you might call and say which type of licensures, mental health licensures, do you cover for therapy? That's a good idea. And this is very interesting. It will depend also on the state you live in as to what type of licensed professionals are plentiful. For example, I know, or maybe it's changed, but in California, and man, that'd be a great place to live, or at least for a while. I'll have to try it. They don't really recognize LPCs. I'll tell you more about that. I'm one of those. It isn't that you can't get an LPC license in California, but they don't really, they don't hire them. They don't really recognize them. I just found that so interesting. However, let's start with some of these. I was gonna say with the L's. They all have L's. Obviously, L means licensed. Boom, we got that down. How about this? LBSW. More of these that I have are social workers, and I don't like to go on and on about something I don't know about. I had to do a little research. I have a couple friends that are social workers, master level. Now, what were we on? LBSW, licensed bachelor degree social worker. I know they do a lot of case management. In the state I live in now, you need to pass some kind of test to be a case manager. Not familiar what a case manager is. They're the ones that hook you up with all of the outside resources you might need. Kind of like I give you some resources at the end, like you can call suicide prevention, 741, any things like that. Where I came from, anybody can be a case manager, so I mean, you're either good at it or you're not. However, the licensed ones, they're the best. They went to college. They know. They're the best ones. I mean, they have whole degrees and whole licenses in it. There's got to be a lot more to it than I know. But I didn't, like I said, I didn't want to talk too much about something I don't understand. So I was looking up what is social work, and it sounds like to me they do a lot of studying about people and people in groups, different types, how they react to situations, what they may need. It says, well, they promote social change and development, social cohesion, how people stick together and work together, and empowerment and liberation of people. Well, that sounds pretty good. Principles of social justice, human rights, respect for diversity. We all do that. We're all supposed to do that. But that's what I found out for social work. Again, I don't want to go on too long about something I don't know. Now, there's the master level, the LMSW, master level social workers. And they can actually do therapy. And so I guess, they might get mad at me for saying you get a 2-in-1. You get a professional case manager type person, and you get someone that can do therapy. And this is my opinion only. To me, the champions therapy-wise the social workers is the LCSW. They have to do more. They have to do more to get that. I believe they are master degreed. It's licensed clinical social worker, and they do great work from what I understand as far as helping out with individual therapy. Let's go to... It's not gonna show. Forget it. LMFT. What could that mean? Okay, licensed marriage and family therapist. And I think that's good because now anybody can get married. Well, you need two people anyway. It's very interesting. Now they are the ones that are the experts on family relationships and relationships in general. They are, it isn't that the other ones cannot do, like marriage therapy, family therapy, but these ones are the experts in that. I have a friend that's a talented MFT. Some of us in the profession would kind of cut the license off because, obviously. Anyway, she's an LMFT, and I've worked with her at least a couple times. I know at one place she did a lot of the family groups. We worked at a drug and alcohol rehab, and she did a lot of the family groups where the families come. But also she was, or I was sitting in with her on an individual session, and I found it very interesting because she was asking the client about all the different relationships she's had. It was, I thought, okay, we're learning about the relationships, because, I can tell a lot about you by the relationships you've had. And I thought that was so interesting. And I feel someone like me could do the same, but she comes at it from another perspective. And I think the LMFTs are very, very valuable for, they're probably the best marriage therapists. I can do that with my licensure. I hated it. I am good at it. I don't like it with heterosexual couples, because sometimes the ladies want to go to a lady instead of a man, and then the guy feels ganged up on, and then you've got all that dynamic, plus whatever the problems are, he said, she said. I mean, I have been told by couples that I'm good at it, but that's just, I would rather do group therapy with everybody calling names. I mean, I can call that down, I can get that group to work together, but I don't want to do any of that other stuff again if I don't have to. What else do we have? The state I live in, there's something called a licensed behavioral health professional. That I did try to look up. I don't think they have those in the state I came from. I don't think they have those in Texas. They may have them in other states. I really didn't get to learn much about that. And it may be just strictly limited to behavior, how to change your habits, how to change your actions, maybe some coping skills. I really don't know. I don't want to say. I did notice that requires a bachelor's degree. It doesn't get paid as much as the master level therapist, which unfortunately is like anything else. Like teaching, the higher degree you have, the more you get paid. But it's never enough to offset those student loans. It's another topic. So that was interesting to find out in my state, of behavioral health professional. Um, One I did not cover. We have some here. You've got, woo, LADC, and they're LCDC. And there's probably as many names for those as there are states. My current state, they have LADC, licensed alcohol and drug counselor, I believe. Then LCDC is what we had there in Texas, licensed chemical dependency counselor. I'm just going to say in Texas because I don't know here, and a lot of them don't get paid. You know, they don't get paid as much as somebody like, say, like an LPC, LMFT, and I really kind of think they should. I know some of them, at least in Texas, they do have bachelor degrees. They don't have to. All they needed was an associate's degree, a 2-year degree. In Texas, some were grandfathered in. They just had their GEDs, but man, they are specialists in their field. They know everything about drug and alcohol dependency. They should get paid more. They're so underestimated. I mean, when I worked at the rehab, I was always calling somebody, and even after, I would call and say, hey, I got somebody that's been doing this much meth, this much blah blah blah. I mean, eventually I could gauge it, but I really needed to know, does this person need to be medically supervised before entering rehab? You don't want to make anyone sick. You don't want to make anyone die. A lot of you probably know, and now the buzzword opiates. Opiates, yeah, you can die from withdrawal, but guess what? Alcohol's a narcotic too. You can die from that, quitting cold turkey. You know, and it's important. These people know everything. I had one lady that had already been through detox for benzodiazepines, a lot of anxiety, like Xanax, which people really don't take so much anymore, I hope. There's others, and by the way, Benadryl is one of those. Don't take any more than prescribed. Like I said, and it's actually, I thought it would be like heroin, but it's the most dangerous to withdraw from. And my boss, gosh, he's been in LCDC for years, was grandfathered in. And my client, you know, she had been through detox. She had been in residential for almost a couple of weeks, kept saying, how's so-and-so? I said, she's fine. I was okay. And he says, how's so-and-so? I said, well, she's out playing volleyball with everybody else. And he said, you need to watch her. Because the thing is, you can seize up and die even 2 weeks after withdrawing from a benzo. And I did not know that, and I watched her every minute after that. She did okay. Like I said, even some of the things you take over the counter, no one's going to tell you this, but you got to watch it. That's why the licensed chemical or alcohol dependency people are so important. However, they're not as valued. They can't have their own practice by itself. They have to be under, like, an LPC, LMFT. They have to work like that. I did see one that works in a private practice here in the state I'm in. That was interesting. They were working under the master level person. But they usually work in drug abuse recovery facilities. Man, they're valuable. There's almost nothing you can ask that they don't know about. I think they're awesome people, but I work with enough of them, and I sure did ask their help. So, here we are. My favorite. Licensed professional counselor. That's what I am. And it almost sounds not good because it's very, very general. There is not much we can't do, which is good. I have had the opportunity to do so much. Like I said, with marriage counseling, I've done some good family counseling, domestic violence, very deep trauma counseling. We are really considered the tops on the one-on-one counseling. Doesn't mean every LPC you go to is going to be the best at that. We're the ones. Tell me about your childhood. Not really, we don't do it like that, or I don't. That'd be stupid. However, I've had the opportunity to work with extremely traumatized children, sexual trafficked kids, really severely abused children, and the fact a lot of people don't want to do it. It's so hard. It's hard hearing the stories, and it's hard. I mean, one of the times when I was working in the children's home, I was listening to this little boy's story, and I was pissed. I just wanted to go into a rage. What in heck? I mean, what were they doing to this little boy, But I just had to, and I kept telling him he was doing good, and he was a great kid. I hope he's doing good still. We have a lot of latitude, and because we're LPCs, we can do the drug and alcohol counseling as well. However, if I was doing drug and alcohol counseling with somebody like an LPC, I would like to maybe have, like an LADC on hand, or hope that perhaps that person, maybe they'd be a recovering addict if you get lucky, There's a lot of us in the field. You would be surprised. The only thing, I don't know if that applies in the other states. I know in Texas, the thing we can't do is with convicted, like, sex offenders. We can't do that. You got to have a special licensure for that, and that's good. Because to me, I have dealt with more victims, more survivors, and I just think it would be a conflict of interest, I was trying to think of everything that I've done. Well, even some behavioral addiction is very interesting. I've had some gamblers, relationship addicts, and what is really, I was going to say what is cool, it's not cool, but from a scientific viewpoint, it is. Had some ex-drug dealers that were they were money addicts. I mean, that fast money. There's even a song, what is it? The lure of easy money is the ultimate appeal. It was so interesting to hear. So it's been an extremely varied career, and I'm glad I did pick the LPC path because, gosh, well, unfortunately, there will never not be a demand. However, I'm not put in a box. I can help many people, or I've had the opportunity and the blessing to help many people, and there's nothing like it. It's just an honor and a privilege, and when sometimes I've been asked on interviews, well, why? What do you like about doing this? Why do you do this? I said, because of all the heroes that I meet. I mean, you don't know what someone's been through, and I've heard so many stories of such gallant bravery, and when the people they feel like nothing, they don't see themselves that way. I've met amazing people that have overcome things that many people wouldn't, but what has really got me the most were the disabled children. That is courage like I have never seen, and they get up and they laugh and they play, and people say, how can you do it? How can you listen to those stories? It's the least I can do, you know? I think two of the most powerful phrases are, I believe you, and I'm listening. I learned a lot from the kids. But let's go back. One more. You may have any of these with intern. And back of it, what does that mean? On the doctor shows. So I'm resident intern. Do you really know what that means? Means they have passed their doctor exams. They have gone through the education, went through the, is it 3 or 4 years med school? Hell, I don't know. I really don't know. That's why I went to counselor school instead of law school, because law school is going to take me another year. But anyway, that means they've done all of that. But because the states don't want anybody screwing up, and if I'm the patient, God, please don't screw up on me. Please, please, please. But at the, I want to say the teaching colleges, the university college, one comes to mind, Lubbock, Texas University Medical Center, Tulsa, Oklahoma. We have OU Medical Center, there's an OSU Medical Center. OU has a hospital, and I think OSU does too. But those ones, you will see a lot of interns. But however, they do reports to a doctor with the intern cut off. When I got my intern cut off my letters, that was cool. So they're consulting with somebody, and because it's a learning hospital, you're getting all the fresh and newest ideas. So the new technology, I think that's cool. So what is somebody that, say, is like an LFT intern? Okay, they got their master's degree, they passed the state exam, and they're required to do, I don't know how many, I was required to do, I could be wrong, I want to say 3,000 hours. I'm probably way wrong. God, you can see that's been a long time ago. Anyway, with the intern on the side of your name there. So you've got that's your supervisor. Whoever's over you, and LPC actually has a supervisor license. But then thing is, they're responsible for every mess up you make. I don't know if I want to do that or not. Really? But that way someone's always looking over. So if you get with an intern, don't worry. They're probably well into their hours. And in fact, the best therapist I had, one of the best, she was an intern. I didn't understand it all. I didn't care. But anyway, then she had to tell me, I'm not an intern anymore. So, I mean, I didn't care. She really did. She did a lot of good for me. Okay. Well, so there we go. I'm sure that's clear as mud. I had to do my own research for this project. I think this is going to be part 1, and then we'll do, this is just recognizing what types of therapists, or if you hear the word clinician, it means the same thing. What type of people are out there available to give you that therapy. I think the next time we're going to do like actually picking one, as far as, do I have to take the first one that my insurance, blah, blah, blah. And how to, by calling and talking to people, how to decide if that might be a good fit for you. And you might not even really know until you go, but you know, God, don't want you to waste any more money than you have to. Hopefully you can find a way to get it free. Hopefully you can get some freaking insurance where everyone's lost their jobs. Yeah, oh, the therapist I was going to go to, he called me again and he says, well, Joni, I'm going to have to cancel our April 28th appointment. I said, I understand. I expected it. I made it easy for him. You know, it's not his fault, but there we go. Kiss the mental health goodbye. Call my psychiatrist. Oh, I forgot my appointment. So on the 30th, I was messing around trying to get insurance and crap. But anyway, apparently I've left 2 messages, so they are out of the office now. Oh, another good one. Psychiatrist. They very rarely do therapy. They're the ones that will prescribe medicine. They're doctors, basically. Well, they're MDs, but they specialize in the psych meds. So I called her, and they're not there. And I know a lot of people are thinking this. Do I ration out my meds? No, you take them like you're supposed to. So I am taking them like I'm supposed to. I hope I don't run out of refills. And if I do, please freaking call me in some more. We're all in the same boat. Thank you for being here. Please, please take care of yourself and others.